20s, I used to keep writing scripts and irritate Mr. Maniratnam with those scripts. So, because he's the one who taught me from the director's line to everything else, along with Mr. Santosh Shivan. So I used to keep writing storylines and scripts and keep wasting their time in those days if I look back. So I've continued that habit. I still write, stories and scripts, and I have a couple ready to shoot, which I may, if as soon as I get time, maybe end of this year, next year, etc.
तमिल सिनेमा या साउथ सिनेमा में बहुत सारा कई हिस्सों में ऐसा हुआ रियलिस्टिक फिल्में बनती रही, लेकिन बहुत ज़्यादा मसाला फिल्में ही बनती रही. आप एक ऑब्जर्वर के तौर पे कैसे देखते हैं?
Are you telling me that Tamil cinema makes a lot of masala films and?
ज़्यादातर.
No, sir. Actually, I feel that there's more progressive cinema happening in Tamil. Not to say that Hindi doesn't. Hindi also, I think, has created a lovely niche market, and you have a lot of films which are, different from the conventional structure. But actually, Tamil has a lot of films that have actually that come up, and in fact, if you don't have something interesting or different in your film in Tamil cinema today, it's not very readily accepted in a sense.
तनुज, आपके लिए जैसे अगर फिल्में आइडिया माने,
I think you've seen a lot of these dubbed films. The dubbed films are the action films which will normally get dubbed, but there's a ton of films that, like for example, I don't know if you saw Kaka Mutai, which was national. So a lot of those kind of films that happen in Tamil cinema, which we are proud of. Sorry, you were asking.
तनुज, एक आइडिया है फिल्म में, तो आपके लिए आइडिया क्या था? और आप इतने यंग हैं, तो क्या आप
मैं देहरादून में पढ़ता था. I studied in the Doon school. So from time to time, my father used to drop me from Delhi to Dehradun. So the movie comes from a very personal space. It comes from the time when you are driving together with your father to school, and you can't have that conversation which you want to have with your father, and there are those awkward silences and moments during those things. So this is where the whole idea of the movie came from, and I just elaborated on that, and it worked out.
Is this film a coming of age film or a road movie, or is it based on your personal experiences alone?
It's a mixture of all those, if I were to be more precise about it. It's the coming of age of the kid, it's a road movie where the father and son interact with each other. It's also a movie about understanding one another while you're going towards it.
Really, I mean, in the sense that the same nervousness that I have for a film in any other language, I have the same nervousness for this as well. I mean, it's good nervousness in a sense that, I hope they see what we saw in the script.
Sir, was Arvind sir your first choice for the film, or did you consider any other actor?
No, sir was the first choice of the film. The moment we sat down to brainstorm about it, but once everybody decided, like, let's go with it, we approached sir, and it was a cakewalk after that, actually.
Arvind, here, straight. From this fame that you had at that time?
See, actually, I never wanted to be an actor, and I was a reluctant actor. But the process of making the film was what I really enjoyed. The attention that came with success was something that made me very uncomfortable. I was not prepared for it. I was not ready. I was in my early 20s at that time.
You never enjoyed that success? Are you trying to say that?
I enjoyed the success. I didn't enjoy the attention. I mean, I want you to see my film, but leave me alone. It's like that. So, it's like if you think all your life, you think that you want to be a star and you want to perform, etc., then that is something that you would enjoy. But I was very unprepared for what came my way.
So adulation was something that you really did enjoy?
To know that...
You did have a lot of female fans also, I remember, especially after Roja. And if you could just go back to those days and remember how was it like?
It was very stifling for me. Like, it was not something like if I came out and saw, let's say, 100 people standing, it would make some people happy and proud. It would make some people want to run back into their house. I belong to the second category. So it is not that I didn't respect it. I respected it. It's just that I didn't know how to deal with it at that time. And I thought it was, as a lot of the other movies started coming, it was only getting bigger, and in a sense that it was, I felt that I had that window of time to make a choice and do things in my life that I wanted to do, and kind of feel comfortable again in a sense. So I did all those things that took me to that point, and now I'm very comfortable. I like to meet and meet people. Personally, I think I'm a bit of a recluse, so those two things don't go together.
Censor board has become a bit tough these days. Any issues with the censor as far as this film goes?
It's not my problem actually. So,
Yeah, I mean the director.
As a producer's problem, right?
It's a very sweet family film. It is just meant for a mature audience, but it doesn't have.
One we picked, he nailed the audition perfectly. He brought with him that naivety of youth, that kid who's just growing up and is that doldrum age where he can't understand what's happening and what he wants, and that maturity which comes after he understands where his father is coming from and where he's headed. So yeah, he perfectly nailed it at that point.
I want to ask a question. So, we have a rough idea about the complexity.
to be a Tamil. Like for example, and I also believe, see, in those days when I used to act, once Rojan Mami became successful, what used to happen was every film that I did in any language used to get dubbed in other languages. And you're not making the film for certain audiences in a sense, not because of the subject or not because of all that, because visually it's different, right? I mean, you're working with actors and co-actors who are speaking another language. There's no lip sync. Everything goes. It doesn't look like a straight language film in a sense. So unless you're making it like a bilingual, and these guys didn't have a plan to do that at that point in time. I'm very clear that any film that I do now in any direct language should not get dubbed in other languages, because I feel then the audience sometimes does not know that it's a dubbed film. Then they see a lot of things that are a little alien visually or even audio-wise, whatever. It doesn't look like a straight film. So nowadays, at least, you can contract and things like that. In those days, we couldn't, or we never thought of it in a sense. So there was no plan, I think, to make it in Tamil.
Arvind, compared to the earlier days, I'm talking about the 90s.
Yes, sir.
When I used to find that you were not at all friendly or media savvy, and you used to avoid meeting the media, there is a very pleasant revelation that you have actually talking to us in kind of what brought about this change in you, or is it only restricted to Bollywood?
No, sir, it's age. I told you, sir, I was not ready in my 20s. I didn't know how to. I just wanted to be left alone. Like even my entire career, I think from 90 to 2000, in 10 years, I did only 3 photo shoots. That too, I was compelled for a couple of them. And interviews also, I used to hardly, I think 4 or 5 actual interviews. The rest were all taken from old interviews or clippings, etc. and used. So I was, that was my comfort zone. I didn't want to interact. It's not about being friendly or disrespectful, it's just that I didn't want to do it. I was not comfortable. When I look back now, I can, obviously 20 odd years have passed, and I can look back and understand what the problem was then. Even now I'm very reluctant, but I'm more comfortable.
Dear Dad, அப்புறம் ஏதாவது தமிழ் படத்துல நடிச்சிட்டு இருக்கீங்களா?
இப்போ ஒரு தெலுங்கு படம் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கேன் சார். தனி ஒருவன் ஒரு படம் வந்துச்சுல, தமிழ் பாத்தீங்களா நீங்க? தனி ஒருவன். ஓகே, தனி ஒருவன் படத்தை இப்போ தெலுங்குல பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கோம். அது முடிச்சுட்டு இப்போ போகன் ஒரு தமிழ் படம், போகன் ஒரு தமிழ் படம் பண்ண போறேன். அது பிரபுதேவா தான் ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்றாரு.
Could you translate that in English for us, please?
Yeah, so he was asking whether I'm doing other Tamil films now, doing other films. So I did a film last year in Tamil called Thani Oruvan, which was a very successful film. So that was being remade in Telugu. So that is something that I'm doing now. Once that is done, I'm doing another Tamil film called Bogan, which is being produced by Mr. Prabhudeva.
And directed
Director called Lakshman.
Are you any more Bollywood movies?
Yeah, I was going to ask him that.
I'm kind of doing some films for this year. So if at all I do something, it has to be probably closer to next year.
So talks are on.
I mean,
Sorry?
Talks are on.
I have a few scripts that I'm still reading. I take my time. So.
Arvind sir, talking about Bombay and Rosa here, left here. Are you still in touch with your co-stars? I mean, Manisha Koirala or anybody?
Yeah, I did meet her a couple of years ago when she had come back from New York. That's about it. Apart from that, I met Mr. Anupam yesterday. Like I said, I don't have too many friends.